One JRPG every month for the whole of 2020. A challenge I took when I heard that Colin Moriarty announces plans to do so too. Now he challenged himself to a JRPG a month, and while I'll be playing mostly JRPGs, I want to play a few games that are very Japanese but technically aren't JRPGs. Now JRPGs are a genre that I've always played over the years. I may not be the biggest fan and played all the greatest, but I've played enough to consider myself slightly knowledgeable on the topic. My plan is to have 12 Japanese games that I've never played before completed by the end of the year, and then at the end of the year I'll rank them from 1 to 12. You'll soon see that I value gameplay over story in all the games that I play, especially in JRPGs where I'll be sinking 50 plus hours into each month. If the combat and gameplay loops are not engaging, then my interest will quickly dwindle. Story is secondary to this. Yes, I need interesting characters, but I fully expect the plots to be ridiculous and make me laugh, as well as the campy characters and dialogue which are a must for my enjoyment of this genre. So now with all that spiel out of the way, let's jump into the game that I completed in January, and that is Kingdom Hearts 3. Just before we jump into this, I've played all the Kingdom Hearts games in the Kingdom Hearts Story So Far collection. Now I still can't fully understand the story, and I'm not even going to attempt to explain it in any detail because I don't want to get an angry mob of Kingdom Hearts fans on this video. So I will mostly be focusing on the level design, combat and the individual characters. So here we go, Kingdom Hearts 3, a game that many have been eagerly awaiting since 2013, and was it worth the wait? Well, very quickly, the story takes place after all the other mainline games. Sora, Goofy, Donald and the gang need to track down the 3 Keyblade Masters, Aqua, Terra and Ventus, as well as Sora needing to unlock the power of waking. So far it's mostly coherent, but when we dive deeper into all the characters it gets quite confusing. Some of the characters are part of other characters, and some are other characters heartless, and some live in the hearts of others, and it kind of becomes a bit of a mess. And while I mostly understand it, I do not, and I mean I do not understand it enough to give a proper synopsis. So I'll be focusing mostly on the worlds and gameplay in this video. We'll begin by talking about the combat for a bit. Since Kingdom Hearts 2, the combat in the series has just got better and better. Going straight from Kingdom Hearts 1 to Kingdom Hearts 2 when I was younger really blew me away, and the difference in fluidity is crazy. I felt like I could actually control Sora and do some fancy tricks. Now I felt the same when I went back to play the series over the past year, and I think the combat got better in Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance. So now on to Kingdom Hearts 3. I was really hoping it would be the perfect balance of Kingdom Hearts 2, Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance, but the Birth by Sleep was left out mostly, which I was actually quite disappointed about. Don't get me wrong, the movement was great and Sora feels really good to control, but there were a few things that I thought made the game just too easy, and I wish I played the game on a harder difficulty. It was very rare that I would take damage unless fighting a boss. From the beginning you have mostly all of Sora's tools at your disposal, and while it felt amazing, I think a clear progression would have made the game more interesting. In Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, it felt that Sora started off weak and stiff, but with new abilities that you earned across your 30 or so hours of the game, you felt powerful and more in control at the end. However, there seems to be no progression in this game. Sora felt just as powerful at the start than he did at the end. The abundance of action commands made the combat way too easy, to the point where the combat, while fun, felt quite brainless, especially with the Disney Ride commands. Initially these were really fun and added to the spectacle that is the combat in this game, but rapidly became very boring to use. With long animations and invincibility, removing any dangers of combat and dealing massive damage. Yes, they're cool, but you can use them too often, and eventually I stopped as they were just too boring. Except for grinding where they actually came in quite handy. The final thing about the combat is the different Keyblades. At the start I thought they were interesting and had a variety, but once again the formation changes were cool, but some had long enough transitions and again made the combat really easy. All in all, I think the combat felt great and was really fun, but was quite brainless. I know the previous Kingdom Hearts game had some brainless combat too, but I felt in Kingdom Hearts 2 that there was a clear progression, and some parts of the combat were intricate enough to warrant learning some of the ins and outs. The combat wasn't completely boring, but still left a lot to be desired in the way of depth. So now we'll take a look at the worlds. These were the things I was looking most forward to when playing this game. Growing up in the early 2000s meant that most of my childhood films were Pixar films, which weren't in the older Kingdom Hearts games. I had little to no affinity to Tarzan, Hercules and the Disney Princess of the previous games, so having Sully, Mike, Woody and Buzz on my side got me very excited. The first world, Olympus, was absolutely fantastic. I started the game on Christmas Day and it really felt like I was a kid again playing Kingdom Hearts 2 running around a large open Olympus with winding paths and even more fluid movement system than Dream Drop Distance. The graphics, the spectacle fighting, the contrast of the dark burnt down city to the bright luscious colours when ascending Mount Olympus was fantastic. The game quickly hooked me and I played for hours that day, beating Olympus in one day. The final boss fight against the 3 Titans was so fun and it really felt like Sora, Donald and Goofy had reached their full power. Toy Story is one of, if not my favourite Pixar franchise, and I couldn't wait to jump in. Andy's bedroom was perfectly recreated, something that I have only ever seen in the Toy Story 3 game on the PS3. You load into the world and you are met by the instrumentation of You've Got a Friend in Me, a song that really tugs at my heartstrings. Sora, Donald and Goofy are all slightly redesigned, looking like toys, which really gives each world a bit more character. You're shrunk down to the size of the toys, and running around the road outside Andy's house makes you feel like you're in the movie. Something that 5-year-old me would have absolutely loved to do. The toy shop gives off the same effect. The mechs in the level added some diversity, but I really don't like mechs in games and quickly got bored of them. This world has some story significance, with the organisation realising they can use inanimate objects, in this case toys, to corrupt and use as vessels. Again, some story mumbo jumbo that I only slightly understand. I'm mainly here for the fluid combat and fun interactions between characters. All in all, this world was great and furthered the plot nicely. The Kingdom of Corona was my favourite world in the game. I've watched Tangled and I did enjoy it, but I was really not expecting how great this world would be. The world just looked so beautiful. The blue skies and the forest looked so great, and the forest was really fun to explore. This world felt populated, which is a criticism of the Kingdom Hearts series as a whole. The previous game areas, while fun to explore, felt quite dead and had little to no NPCs in the world to make it feel alive. The city in this world was great, and while you can't really interact with them, it really gave the city an illusion of being jam-packed, and as a result was really compelling to explore. I can't talk about this world without talking about the music. The little cheerful tune that plays you explore really planted itself in my head, and I still hum it to this day. This was a great world and is easily the most enjoyable world that I have ever played in a Kingdom Hearts game. Now the worlds really drop off after the Kingdom of Corona, and this begins with Monstropolis. A world I was really looking forward to because Monsters Inc. is one of my favourite films ever. However, my excitement quickly faded. It's really cool playing with Sully and Mike as they are characters that hold a special place in my heart, but this world was just so boring. Firstly, it's called Monstropolis, but you don't get to explore the city, only the factory setting of Monsters Inc. All you do is run down corridors and explore a warehouse/factory setting that reminds me of some of the very basic Kingdom Hearts worlds. I don't really have much more to say about this world other than how boring it was, and I just wanted it to be over. Following on with this boring theme again, we go to Arendelle. Now I understand that I'm not the target audience for this world, but that begs the question. Why did Square feel the need to put this into the game if many of the Kingdom Hearts audience were a lot older when Frozen released? But let's get back on track. The world is just a large forest mountain area. You might be thinking, you just said you love the Kingdom of Corona, which is basically a forest area, but at least in Corona there's Rapunzel's Tower and the town to explore. The world is just a mountain with a bit-for-bit recreation of Let It Go from the movie, and Sora, Donald and Goofy appear briefly in it. You don't even get to explore the town, which made this world feel so bland. You can really see a running theme here with these final few worlds, and it really left a sour taste in my mouth. But we can't get ahead of ourselves. The next world is the Caribbean, which is such a fantastic world. The graphics in the world are unbelievable. It's just so bright and colourful, and the models of Keira Knightley, Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom are just done so well. You can really see how this series has come a long way since its PS2 days of these models. So in this world you are given control of a ship, and the sailing mechanics feel really good and easy to use. The ship combat, while simplistic, is fun, and it serves its purpose of giving you something to do while you go from island to island. The best part of this world is the open world-esque exploration. You sail the open seas and dock at islands that have loot, enemies and plenty of secrets to find. I easily spent the most amount of time in this world, and I think Square done an absolutely fantastic job, and it is a close contender with my favourite Kingdom Hearts worlds in the series. From one of the best to one of the worst, we now take a look at San Fransokyo. Big Hero 6 is such a fantastic movie, and I was really looking forward to having Baymax in my party and see him interact with Sora, Donald and Goofy. But this world is so lifeless. I've never felt more bored exploring a world in Kingdom Hearts. Luckily it is only short. I just beat whatever story I had to do and left the world and never turned back. Again, I don't have much to say about this world other than I was glad when it was over. The only saving grace of this world was Baymax and the few words that he said, especially near the end when Hero got hugged by two Baymaxes. That was one of the best moments in the game. And finally, the last world, the Keyblade Graveyard. This is a world that fans of the series will be familiar with, and the story in this part is really good. I'm not going to even try to explain it, as I said. All I will say is that the little interactions with the Organisation 13 members after you kill them all are great. The majority of these characters are interesting and very well designed, and after all this time it was amazing to see the human side of them. The actual fights, however, were way too easy. I never even came close to dying in any of them. I remember struggling with Ansem in Kingdom Hearts 1, and some of the Kingdom Hearts 2 bosses were also difficult, but I barely took any damage fighting these bosses, and without the dialogue at the end of these bosses, I would have completely forgot about them by now. Again, I only slightly understand the story, but the characters are what I'm here for, and this world does not disappoint. So there we have all the worlds out of the way. I just have to talk about one more thing before I wrap this video up, and that's the Gummi Ship. A mechanic that was awful in Kingdom Hearts 1 and was okay in Kingdom Hearts 2. I absolutely love this part of the game. I spent hours exploring space, collecting new parts, finding the constellations and defeating enemies. I even customised my own Gummi Ship. It looked terrible, but could destroy anything that came into its path. I have to say fair play to Square for making this a really compelling part of the game. I know it seems like I don't like this game, but I certainly had fun across my nearly 40 hours with the game, and this only added to my enjoyment. Now, to wrap this already very long video up, the combat in the game was a spectacle. It was extremely easy, and was a case of press X to win and the occasional press a triangle to make it even easier. Some of the worlds were fantastic, and I won't be forgetting them anytime soon. Others, well, we won't really talk about them anymore, and I'm glad I'm done with them. I enjoyed my time with the game, and initially I thought I loved it, but the more time I spent thinking about it, all the cracks started to show, and it has fallen down to a like in my rankings. I couldn't really tell you if it was a satisfying conclusion to the story, but I enjoyed parts of it, and others I didn't really understand. But with Kingdom Hearts out of the way, let's get some preparation for a remake that I'm eagerly awaiting for, and play Final Fantasy VII next month. Thanks for watching everyone, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all on the next video.